Welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening, good day, g'day to wherever you are. I got the hit yesterday actually I also had a dream, kind of like a twilight dream this morning of Eric and I do a lot of coaching together. We do a lot of this allowing love work together, and I just got the hit to have today's Facebook Live, today's share. Just be a really beautiful conversation, and just us sharing what's valuable and what works for us. So hi, it's really fun to be here. So Eric's going to call in the light for us, and we'll see what shows up after that.
All right, so beloved one, we just call forward the light of the highest good, the light of our true selves, the presence of love to be with us. We ask our awareness to go to that place that is the truth, that is the one that knows what's best for us and what's in our hearts, what's really going to serve us and what's going to serve those around us and the planet, etc. And we just ask for the support and the guidance and the strength to come present and choose into what's going to lift us and serve our life as we move forward and in this moment. And we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and to be just whoever we are. We just let go of everything else and just allow ourselves to just be us and just to breathe and just to be still. And we just ask whatever comes forward is for our highest good, and that we can have fun with each other while we're doing this live video and enjoy it. And that's it. So anything else for us we receive. And thank you. Amen.
Alrighty. So the clear intention that I had for these this Thursday, every Thursday at 9 o'clock, doing a Facebook Live share that is also recorded and uploaded to YouTube and will become a podcast. I was really inspired by my ability to let go of needing to create a script, to plan, to prepare, to figure out what I was going to say before I did my recent speaking gig. So we have not talked about this, we have not planned this, we have not prepared this. We have done a bunch of meditation and received some ideas, some inspiration. And what came present for me this morning was to really just speak to the power of being vulnerably human, imperfect, and really actually allowing ourselves to speak from that, share that, own that, just be immature, ridiculous. I always want to use the word retarded because it really speaks to the just the slowness that some of our levels have, right? And it's not a negative in any way, just some parts of us are trying to catch up. But I'm really called in this moment to really talk about that. And actually, Eric often shares the story of when we were first together. And I had just gone through like a few years of my master's in spiritual psychology, where I was really learning how to give my feelings a voice. And that, yes, I was this beautiful spiritual being with truth and love, and that everything was perfect. Everything is always going to be okay. Yes, that's my truth. And I have this human form that sometimes feels hurt, is the victim, is shitty, and actually allowing that part of me to be present and to express and to heal was very, just this incredible new expansive part of my life. So what's present, honey, to share in terms of that?
About you sharing your
Yeah, and how challenging that was for you at the beginning, but how you dealt with that.
Yeah, it was very, when Zoe would allow herself to be very vulnerable and, as some might say, crazy. We all have our crazies, that part of us, immaturity, whatever it is, the out of balanceness. When she would allow herself to really share that with me, and I mean like 100%, like, as I say, full retard in the best of ways.
The best way.
It was very awkward for me because I obviously had judgments on it, or I had a charge on it inside myself. So I just wanted to run. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. Like, I was just, it was like the most uncomfortable thing. Like, if it's like if you're scared of heights or scared of spiders, it's like I had that fear of it's just so uncomfortable when Zoe would allow herself to be super vulnerable and crazy and share all of that immaturity or whatever that part that's coming up to heal. And so for me, it was definitely a process, a good process for probably over a few years, and I'm still working that process of really allowing myself to do the same, to be in that vulnerability, to be awkward, to be crazy, to allow those things to come forward. And because I definitely had judgment on it. I'm like, why do I need to be, allow this immaturity to come forward? Like, I'm not that. Like, I know better. Like, there's a part of me, this high self, this wisdom that knows that that's not the truth, that this craziness, this immaturity is not the truth. But it was still part of me. It was still there. It was still present. It was yelling. It was kicking and screaming. And it wasn't working just ignoring it or just saying I know better. That part of me knows better. So it really taught me to listen and to deal with, to allow this part of me to come forward that I felt so awkward with at first, and so like uncomfortable with. I was really uncomfortable. And so it was like getting to meet a new friend, like someone you like want to stay away with, like some awkward person at school you don't want to ever talk to, who's like has Tourette's or whatever it is, and you're like, okay, let's get to know each other, because obviously you're part of my life. You're inside of me somewhere for some reason. There's some message or lesson that I can learn, that I can receive through this process. And it's been an amazing process. And it still comes up a lot where there's part of me that's screaming out or wants attention and wants to be heard and is out of balance. And I still resist giving it a voice or giving it the time it needs, because one, it takes time. I gotta go, it's like sitting down with a little kid, who's having a temper tantrum. So Zoe's been an amazing teacher for that, and just her willingness and strength to be that in front of me. And even when we first were together, to like really just allow that, is just incredible. And I'm just really grateful to be married to someone that's so willing to let her crazies out and share with me all of herself. Because to me, a perfect marriage is really, we're all in and you share the totality of who you are. That unconditionality of living, and don't hold back. So I know that's a process for all of us, and maybe a lifetime or lifetimes process, but I'm enjoying learning that with Zoe more and more. And it's nice. Sometimes I just get the hint just to tell her what's present, even if it seems like I don't need to tell her, but part of me wants to share, and something I may be embarrassed about or whatever it is, yeah, so anyway, that's all I got right now.
So Thanks, honey. And what comes present for me, kind of piggybacking on that, is, you know, if it didn't work so well, if I didn't feel like it really just shifted patterns very specifically, yeah, I wouldn't do it, right? It wouldn't be as this valuable thing in my life. But whenever I get to the point where I'm just kind of like, I try and lift when I'm out of balance, or I feel sad, or I just feel angry, or something just doesn't feel good, right? None of us have the time to, whenever we feel slightly out of balance, give our feelings a voice. How are you doing, right? We have full lives. And so my prayer is always just to lift out of it, right? Like, Lord, just help me, like, lift out of that. But when something continually comes back, and often when something's really irrational, like something happens and the emotional or just the out of balance reaction that I have to it is clearly irrational, clearly does not meet what just happened, I grab him and he becomes my healing coach. And we do this incredible process where we just hold for each other and really allow ourselves to allow that feeling present. And that's really hard, right? You guys probably all know I'm a life coach. This is what I do every day. And the question of how do you feel is, I think, one of the hardest questions to answer, because all day I'll be asking someone, okay, this happened. How do you feel? And often, 90% of the time, I get, well, I just really feel like that wasn't fair, or I really feel like I need to do X, Y, Z, right? It's actually incredibly hard to go from the justification, the mind, all of the things that we want to think or to blame or to judge or to do in our mind, as a way to distract ourselves from how uncomfortable it is to actually get into our body, into our feelings, into our humanity, and to really feel what's up for us. So we have a lot of practice in this now, so we're very good at just holding for each other and supporting ourselves, because he's way better at this than me, but I still, right, when I'm out of balance, I will still try and project like my out of balance on him, right? Like, well, no, you did this, right? Like, and I kind of I don't want to immediately feel what this is for me. I want to go, Eric, my whole problem is you right now, right? But what I learned from USM, and this is the hardest thing that I really gradually and gently encourage clients to receive, is that whenever you're out of balance, whatever is going on in terms of an inner experience is yours. It's actually not a function or because of what happened, but actually is a massive opportunity for you to heal something that's out of balance inside of you. And he's a master at really just holding and sweetly nudging me, well, how does that make you feel? Like, really, like, and where is it? So I'd like to go through just a little bit of like, what do we do, right? Because,
sure.
Just in a little bit, because I do think it's so profoundly valuable. So for me, a huge part is getting into the body and really allowing ourselves to be aware of how we feel. And a huge key in this is really trying to be aware of where do we feel it in our body, right? If we can be aware of, oh yeah, wow, it's kind of at my chest. It's just this sinking deep, like, it's like this black hole, it's sucking in, it's at my chest. Or maybe it's this, this throbbing, hitting pain at the back of my head. Or maybe...
often for me right here. Of course, I think a lot of people, right?
Hugely, right? A lot of the hurt comes in at the stomach, at the basic self level.
Yeah.
And so if we can really allow ourselves to be aware of where it is in the body also, and this is really hard for some people, but to also make contact with it as its own abstract entire energy, and to be aware of, wow, does it have a texture? Does it have a color, right? If it truly were this complete, whole, beautiful energy, and really this is a form of Gestalt therapy, Gestalt meaning the whole, if we were to really fully give this as the whole to what's going on right now, what is it? And then to allow that place to give our voice to that experience.
Yeah, I just want to add too, like sometimes it takes me like, whether it's like a really strong intention or prayer, or like I gotta really will myself to like feel what's present sometimes, because my defense mechanism or my other part of me that doesn't want to be in the uncomfortableness is so strong and so powerful, and I'm so used to that. And our dog wants to come inside now. He's kicking the window. But anyway, sometimes I gotta like really will myself to get down and dirty, like in this uncomfortability, this out of balanceness. And it is like kind of, you're like climbing down a ladder into like a dirty pit. Sometimes it feels like that. So it's like, why do I want to go down there? Why do I want to deal with this?
Yeah.
But the reward is so profound. The blessing is so profound. So maybe it's like, okay, maybe I'm going down in this pit, this dirty pit, to save a child or save a part of me, right?
Yeah.
To really, maybe there's this little part of me that's down there, and I really need to, I want to save this part of me. I want to be present with this. I want to include it in my life. So I think that's the opportunity. But sometimes it really takes a good amount of work and willpower for me to get there.
Yeah. And you really just shared that so beautifully. And I hope this is not too much off topic, but something really just kind of like illustrating that came in for me that really actually got me started on just how profound this whole idea of giving my feelings a voice was. I was bulimic since I was 14. Since the year that my mum died, that was one of the things that I did. In order just to escape my feelings, not really be present with, right, all that was going on for me at that time. And so I just checked out with food, and food became my love, my escape, my addiction. And I still had this recurring pattern of bulimia until the second month of USM, the University of Santa Monica's Masters of Spiritual Psychology program, and I started that in 2011. And I had actually had bulimia. For those of you who aren't super into the metaphysics of this life, you probably go, this is a bit weird, but my spiritual teacher took it off me, like took it from me many times. Yeah, took the karma of it, took bulimia off me, right? And I would have months where it's like, oh wow, I'm not doing it. And given the karma, the past hurts or whatever it was, I don't know, but I would recreate it. I recreated it such that it was back. And so I really, when I started to really do this work, and I did it around bulimia, around like, what is this feeling of like just wanting to go to food, or what am I feeling? It really was me going back to that beautiful 14-year-old and really being with her. And the beauty of this work of really showing up for us in our imperfect humanity, in our feelings, isn't just so that we can clear it and heal these challenges and move forward, but I believe they're given to us really so that we can learn, number one, how not to recreate them, but so that we learn to have a relationship with ourselves and all of life that is truly unconditional. It's not easy to love those weak, pathetic parts of us, right? The victim. It's really not easy, but in my experience of going back and really being with me at those times, I learned how to unconditionally love myself in a way that truly just cleared this pattern. And often people come to me, Zoe, you struggled with weight for so long, right? Like I have journals for 20 years of me writing down exactly what I ate, of a new diet, of like, for 20 years, my journals were me obsessed with food and losing weight, because from 14, I was chubby until USM. The University of Santa Monica, they do have a program the first year. It might be the very last time that they offer the first year, and it starts next month. So if you're inclined, Google the University of Santa Monica, incredible program. And so I lost my train of thought.
Okay, well, I just wanted to add one of the great...
No, I wanted to
okay,
complete
go ahead.
that. Sorry. Do you remember where I was? If not, I'll get it.
Your bulimia and food diaries.
Yes. So, give me 1 second. Thank you, everyone. So this just beautiful relationship, this very rich relationship with food. I truly wish I could put in a formula exactly how I cleared it, but I definitely healed these patterns of this hurt, this grieving that I didn't do when I was 14 and many subsequent years after that. So in some ways, I guess, right, that healed my karma with overeating and just being out of alignment with the weight that my body loves the most. But there is no specific formula. But for me, as soon as I actually just healed the challenges of that era in my life, all of a sudden I could eat whatever I want, and I do kind of eat whatever I want. And I'm 111 pounds, which is crazily enough, I had 111 pounds in little plaques on my wall because that's really what I wanted to weigh. It was so important to me. So I think it's hilarious now that I don't care, I don't track it. When I'm at the gym and I step on the scales, invariably I will see 111 pounds, and it's just God and my little joke. It's hilarious. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking for what you want.
What's present?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add, I think one of the most amazing, there's so many blessings to doing this type of what I call lower level work. One is that the more I see and allow and learn to love these out of balance, these immature, these childish, ridiculous parts of me, the more I accept that and am able to love it in other people when I see it. And even out there, even the presidency or the government or all these crazy things going on, I truly have more compassion for all these aspects of personalities and expressions. And it's such a much more enjoyable place to be, in the compassion for these parts and for these people that do act immature and do act crazy and do crazy things, than in the judgment and in the againstness. So I'm grateful for that. And there was another blessing I was thinking about for it. The more also I do this work and heal these parts of me, the less I'm open to negativity. So it's almost like every part of me that's not listened to or loved or abandoned, avoided, is it's almost like it's I don't know if it's how I really see it, but like a chink in your armor. It's it's a part that isn't resolved, that it's like a door that's left open or something incomplete in a way.
Yeah.
Almost often from my past, right? From this lifetime or another. So healing these is just completing and getting closure, and I feel more clear. I feel like I get less out of balance from the world and from other people. So I feel like it's just profound, the blessings of doing this work.
Yeah. And just to circle back on to really how I believe this process works most powerfully is because there definitely is a thing that I've experienced in my life called recycling my emotions, right? Kind of just wallowing in self-pity without any real movement forward. And what I'm very aware of is that when we really allow ourselves to give our feelings a voice and we really go there is usually, and not always, but usually an opportunity to be aware of, is there a much earlier time that felt exactly this way? And for me, now that I've done this work so much, usually if I'm here, something will flash. I don't even have to ask. It's oh, wow, yeah, my stepdad's powering over me, and I'm in 8th grade. And so then really like allowing that beautiful 8-year-old Zoe to speak often leads me to a very clear or series of clear misbeliefs or judgments, right? Where, and that's truly how I believe that the healing takes place. These unconscious or emotional energies really are just trying to show us, look at all the stupid shit you bought into. Look at the story, the misbelief that, you know, when your stepdad was super mean to you in 8th grade, that you believed that you were only worth that, or that you're going to get hurt if you stand up and speak your truth. Or that was a big one for me. Because at that time, you know, in 8th grade, it was not safe, and it didn't make a whole lot of loving sense for me to stand up, to be vocal, and to really share my truth. So it was a loving coping mechanism that I learned to be silent, to not really share that fully. However, my stepdad is no longer running my life, right? And yet this beautiful misbelief is going to come find me at some point in the beautiful form of some emotional imbalance, so I can look at this misbelief that, oh wow, I don't believe that I'm worthy of speaking my truth, no matter how it's going to be received or what trouble it gets me in, because I need to forgive myself for buying into that. Definitely wasn't my fault, right? I can accept it and really have compassion for myself, because as an 8th grader, what choice did I have, right? To really have that compassion, but to really now know that my life is very different. I have pretty much only people around me that want to hear my truth and that are supporting it in every way. So am I ready to let go of this misbelief that I can't speak my truth, even if it's uncomfortable or not going to be received the way that I want it to be? And so we get to then, after doing a little bit of self-forgiveness on these judgments, which very easily looks like I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that I'm not allowed to speak my truth. I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that no one wants to hear what I have to say. And I encourage myself, Eric, clients, this is a process that I do all day. The power of self-forgiveness is something that needs to be experienced to be believed, because it's profound. And you just continue to just allow those, not through a process of thinking, but just through a process of just letting them just vomit, for a theme of today, vomit out of your mouth. Just dribble, like, I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief, and just say whatever is present is going to come out of your mouth. And then when that feels a little silent, a little complete, there's nothing left that's just coming up and present, really owning your truth. And not in a way that perfectly needs to reconcile or counterbalance any of the judgments or misbeliefs that you just cleared, but just for what's present right now, right? So it looks something like, and the truth is that I am powerful and beautiful and have something to say. And the truth is that I am really capable of dealing with rejection and abandonment and people not agreeing with me, or whatever that is. But really owning my truth is just this beautiful waterfall of spirit that really just helps to anchor in that healing. And then really there can be a whole lot of variations and other things that go along with that. We've really skipped over that. But that's kind of the process. So I did kind of want to keep it to half an hour. I'm just so grateful just for my community, for all of those of you that have done the Allowing.Love program. We're wrapping up, so I'm going to invite Phoenix to join us.
Come on,
He's
Phoenix.
a little bit dirty.
Come on. Oh. Phoenix.
He's camera shy.
He's definitely not.
He's however learned how to speak his truth. His voice is very loud. Maybe he'll make an appearance. But I do really want to send out a plug. Actually, I was going to ask my husband to do this beautiful plug because I do make this beautiful 7-day meditation process available to everyone for free. And so many of you have done it and continue to tell me how it has impacted and really supported your life. But honey, would you plug my Allowing.Love free 7-day meditation?
Yes, of course. I'm still learning how to do the 7-day meditation for 7 days. So that's just where I'm at. I just want to share that. But there's part of me that knows if I can get a morning practice down, if I can get the Allowing.Love down in the morning and doing it consistently, that it'll change my life. And when I do it, it's incredible, because for me, the key is to really tune in and listen to spirit and listen to the truth inside of me that knows what's for my highest good to handle for the day, to set an intention for the future, for the week. One of my intentions this year is to be the best student I can be to life and to spirit. And yeah, so I have a new intention every week, and I have intentions that are ongoing, and all this is from doing the Allowing.Love process, either in a class with my wife, one of the classes, or just on my own. Sometimes we're sitting together in these 2 chairs in the morning with our puppy, doing Allowing.Love, and it's just one of the best parts of my day by far. And I find myself way more in balance and way more attuned to the truth of who I am and what's important when I do it. Still part of me that resists doing it, or that could sit longer, because it's like I think of things and I get distracted and I want to go handle it. So I'm still learning how it works for me the best. And our puppy's chewing on a napkin tissue. As he's still learning his Allowing.Love. Actually, he's very good at Allowing.Love. He allows a lot of love, especially from us. He's a very good teacher. Anyway, I love you guys. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's probably one of the best gifts I can give myself. And consistency is what I'm working on the most with it, and in my life in general. Yeah, I think.
Awesome. So it is a 7-day audio guide that is emailed to you over 7 days. It is free. It will always be free. It truly is my gift, giving back from all that I've received from so many. And the link to sign up for free for those emails is on the Go Lightly Coaching Facebook page. It's also on this YouTube page if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, pretty much. Yes.
One more thing.
Yes.
Because we didn't go in it very much, but I think like one of the simplest things about being a healing coach, whether it's for someone else or for your wife or your husband, just holding for someone, and that is a healing coach. I think it's like there's nothing masterful about it. Well, there is a lot of mastery about it, but I mean, it's so simple. It seems like there's nothing masterful about it, but it's just listening. It's really just listening. It's amazing, but just focusing on somebody else and listening to what's present for them and listening from your heart. And like, I haven't had practice coaching or anything, but I hold for Zoe and coach her and listen, and like magic happens. And
yeah.
And I get, when I'm present and really listening, I know what to say and when to say it for the most part. It's not always perfect, but you just do the best you can and like reflect. Anyway.
And if you were, wanting to play with this a little, right, and even maybe, get someone to play and practice a little with this, right, the biggest guidance I could give to the person listening, right, is that when someone's expressing deep pain and they feel this and everything's feeling uncomfortable, right, is very human to want to fix it, to jump into the solution. It's like, well, just stop doing this. Or
I used to want to do that all the time with Zoe.
Right,
We all want to fix.
We just want to go, well, stop doing this or do this.
Here's the answer.
Here's the answer. And practically, that is a really great conversation for afterwards, right? But we're actually just healing the unresolved material right now. And all the most powerful, and all you really need to know is that your job as a listener, right? And Brené Brown has done some phenomenal research, and she has some phenomenal support about just this quality of empathy, of not fixing, but of just going, yeah, I really hear you, and that sucks, right? And so if we just took on the mantra, right, of like, yeah, I hear you, I see you, and I love you, right? And I'm kind of with you. I get it. I've kind of been there. I get it. And that's all we need to hear. When we really feel heard and understood, that does help us to drop into our healing and really allow whatever's ready to be lifted.
It took me so long to learn how to not want to fix or like create a solution, even if it's a great idea. Maybe it's a great idea, but it took me so long to hold my tongue in that way and to just say that, like, oh, I'm sorry, honey, that sucks. And it's not like, it's just, yeah, it's a way of saying I hear you, right? Yeah. And just saying it feels shitty, I get it, like that's not fun.
Yeah.
And that's it. And wow, it does wonders. It really does wonders. Really Once how I learned how Zoe received that and responded, like, oh, so much better. I'm gonna just,
I'm gonna stick to that.
But I still forget.
Yeah, me too. Right. Awesome. So I feel pretty complete. I'm just so grateful for this life, for the spiritual support that we have, for my beautiful puppy making so much noise over there, and for you, darling.
Oh, I love you, honey.
So I really received this very uncomfortable, clear intention just to show up. 9 a.m. of a Thursday, Facebook Live. I'm uploading it to YouTube. And just to be present, right? Really step forward and claim my voice, and really step into the calling that is so clear and present with me every morning in terms of my call to serve and shine the light on the power of this form of emotional healing, of allowing love, and just share it freely and to serve. So I'd love to see you back here next Thursday. I do want to plug, I did receive this dream, I think I said that earlier, of us doing more together. So who knows, maybe this will become the Eric and Zoe show. Continue.
And Phoenix.
And the Phoenix show. Interested to see how it unfolds. But I did also just want to plug my incredible husband, because I don't... yes, the Allowing Love meditation is a beautiful way to connect to spirit, but really just hearing one of Eric's songs and really going to that place of receiving the spirit and the truth. Yes, it's incredible music. He's an incredible artist, but it's a form of healing. What he sings about, what he shares, and the energy that comes through his music. So just Google Eric Lumiere, or we'll have a link there. But if you're also just so aware and into your spiritual awakening on the planet at this time, and you also love really good music, I encourage you to check him out. That's us.
All right, love you guys.
Love you guys. See you next week.